Elvis Presley was born as Elvis Aaron Presley on January 8, 1935, in a small two-room house in Tupelo, Mississippi. His parents, Vernon Elvis Presley and Gladys Love Presley, were regular working folks who didn't have much money but loved their only surviving child more than anything. His birth had both sadness and hope mixed together. Elvis had an identical twin brother named Jesse Garon Presley, who sadly died right before birth, just 35 minutes before Elvis was born. This early sadness really affected the Presley family, and Elvis grew up as an only child, with his parents being extra protective and caring toward him. Gladys, his mom, shared a super strong emotional connection with her son, often saying he was the only thing she ever truly owned. The Presley family believed strongly in God and went to church regularly at the Assembly of God Church. It was in this Pentecostal church, where people showed their emotions freely and sang lively gospel music as an important part of worship, that young Elvis first experienced the spiritual and musical energy that would shape his whole life. As a boy, he soaked up the rhythms, harmonies, and power of Southern gospel music, often getting so moved by the church choir singing that he would cry. The mix of religious passion with musical performance planted the first seeds of his special sound. Elvis's first time performing in public happened when he was 10 years old on October 3rd, 1945, at the Mississippi-Alabama Fair and Dairy Show held in Tupelo. Dressed in overalls and standing on a chair so he could reach the microphone, he nervously sang Old Shep, a touching song about a boy and his dog. Even though he didn't win the contest, performing in front of people left a big impact on him and sparked his interest in singing as a way to express feelings and tell stories. For his 12th birthday in January 1947, instead of the bicycle he really wanted, Elvis got a gift that would change his entire life: a $12.95 guitar bought from the Tupelo hardware store. At first he was disappointed, but he quickly became attached to the instrument, which became something he always kept with him. With help from his uncles, who taught him basic chords, and guidance from the new pastor of the family's church, Elvis started learning how to play and sing simple gospel and country songs. His excitement and natural talent for music made up for not having formal lessons. As he got older, Elvis dove into many different types of music. He really looked up to country artists like Red Foley and Ernest Tubb, whose emotionally honest and twangy singing styles influenced how he sang and told stories through songs. He also became a fan of Southern gospel singer Jake Hess, whose powerful voice and way of performing on stage left a strong impression on young Presley. These artists helped shape his unique mix of country, gospel, and blues, the elements that would later create the rockabilly sound. During the late 1940s, Elvis became friends with a classmate who was the younger brother of Mississippi Slim, a local singer with a radio show on Tupelo's Wello station. Seeing how much Elvis loved music, his classmate introduced him to Slim, who welcomed the shy boy into the radio station's world. Slim gave advice, encouragement, and even set it up for Elvis to perform live on the radio, an exciting and important experience for the young wannabe musician. These two radio performances, broadcast when Elvis was just 12 years old, were some of his earliest times performing for a bigger public audience. By the time Elvis graduated from L.C. Humes High School in Memphis in June 1953, he had already decided he wanted a music career. Even though he had worked various odd jobs, including driving a truck for Crown Electric, his heart belonged to music. Later that summer, Elvis walked into the Memphis recording service at Sun Studio, owned by Sam Phillips, and paid money to record a two-sided demo record, supposedly as a gift for his mother. While the recordings didn't get much attention at first, Phillips took note of the young man's unique voice and raw, emotional way of singing. Then on July 5, 1954, Phillips invited Elvis back to the studio to record with guitarist Scotty Moore and bassist Bill Black. During a break in recording, Elvis started messing around with Arthur Crudup's blues song, That's All Right, playing it with an upbeat tempo and a driving rhythm. Phillips loved the spontaneous sound and had them record it for real. Just 3 days later, on July 8th, Memphis DJ Dewey Phillips played the song on his Red, Hot, and Blue radio show. The phone lines lit up and listeners were instantly hooked. The song quickly became a local hit and was released as Elvis's first single onto the Sun Records label. Soon after, Elvis and his band, at first just More in Black, began performing publicly. Their first major public performance as a trio was at the Bon Air Club in Memphis on July 17, 1954. As they became more popular, they added a drummer to complete the sound and make their live shows even more energetic. Elvis's unique blend of blues, country, and gospel, combined with his magnetic stage presence and controversial hip-shaking moves, made him stand out from other performers of that time. In 1955, Colonel Tom Parker, a smart and experienced show business manager, took over as Elvis's official representative. Parker worked closely with Sam Phillips to negotiate a major record deal for his client. On November 21, 1955, Elvis's contract with Sun Records was sold to RCA Victor for the then unheard-of sum of $40,000. This deal marked the beginning of Elvis Presley's change from regional sensation to national superstar. Elvis made his national television debut on January 28, 1956 on the CBS program Stage Show. His electrifying performances led to more appearances on high-profile shows like The Milton Berle Show, The Steve Allen Show, and The Ed Sullivan Show, where he caused national controversy with his gyrating hips and suggestive dance style, earning both outrage and love from fans. His popularity exploded, especially among teenagers who saw him as a rebellious and exciting figure. In March 1956, Elvis took his first steps into Hollywood when he auditioned for the film. On the morning of May 1, 1967, the world was captivated by the long-anticipated wedding of Elvis Presley, the undisputed king of rock and roll, and Priscilla Beaulieu, the young woman who had been a quiet but ever-present figure in his life for years. The wedding took place at the luxurious Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Elvis, then 32 years old, and Priscilla, just 21, had first met nearly 8 years earlier in Germany during Elvis's time in the U.S. Army. At the time, Priscilla was only 14, the stepdaughter of a U.S. Air Force officer stationed overseas. The wedding itself was a brief but lavish affair attended by a small group of close friends and family members along with a few select members of the press. The ceremony took place at 9 a.m. in a private suite at the Aladdin and was followed by a champagne breakfast reception for over 100 guests. The couple lived at Graceland, Elvis's famous Memphis estate, and welcomed their only child, Lisa Marie Presley, on February 1, 1968, exactly 9 months after their wedding day. However, the pressures of fame took a toll on their relationship. Their divorce was finalized in January 1973, marking the end of their nearly 6-year marriage. For nearly 5 decades, the attic of the legendary Graceland estate in Memphis, Tennessee, remained untouched, a time capsule sealed off since the death of its iconic owner, Elvis Presley, in 1977. Rumors swirled for years among fans, collectors, and conspiracy theorists about what secrets might be hidden within its dusty rafters. But when the attic was finally opened after 48 long years during a routine preservation assessment, no one could have predicted the chilling and utterly shocking discovery that would follow. As preservationists and estate curators carefully creaked open the old wooden door leading to the attic, its hinges rusted with age and time seemingly frozen. An eerie silence hung in the air. Dust motes danced in the sunlight, filtering through the attic's small window, revealing cobwebbed trunks, vintage suitcases, and decades-old memorabilia. But what caused everyone in the room to gasp was not a forgotten artifact or unpublished lyric sheet, but a living, breathing man curled up on an old mattress in the corner, staring wide-eyed at his stunned discoverers. The man appeared disoriented, with long, unkempt hair and a beard that hadn't seen a razor in years. He was thin, though not dangerous.